I'm Katie Johnson. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a congregant here at Merging Waters Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community that draws on the shared values of mindful interdependence, authentic curiosity, and courageous love. We welcome you who are joining us in person and you who are joining us online. This camera's over there. It is so good to be together in all the ways that we can. If you are here with us in person, where we share space at the United Church of Christ, New Brighton, we are so glad you are here, and we ask that everyone wears a name tag in an effort to practice radical hospitality and to build community. Some are available out on the welcome table in the entry area. A few announcements. As always, we encourage everyone to take care of your body's needs during the service and engage in ways that help you feel connected, including crafting, doodling, fidgeting, stretching, etc. We have placed the children's table with some art supplies over in that corner of the fireside room where we're gathering today. If you need to stretch and go out into the entryway or into the main sanctuary, that's how it works today, because we're already in the fireside room. Rev Krista is not here this weekend, but she'll be back on July 6th. During the summer, she is not scheduling office hours, but is still available to meet with people in person or via Zoom. So feel free to send her an email if you need to connect or if you have a pastoral care need. Newcomers are welcome to all of our programming. You need not be a formal member. Don't see newcomers here. Can't tell for sure online either, but if you are new to Merging Waters or you haven't already signed up, you are always welcome to sign up to receive our weekly e-news, which gives full details and links for our events. You can sign up by including your email address on the sign-in sheet in the lobby or at the welcome table, and we have a connection card under Connect on our webpage. Heads up, starting in August, we will begin our Sunday services at 1 p.m. instead of 12:30. In a congregational conversation earlier this year, people indicated a willingness to give this a try, especially considering that a morning time slot isn't feasible while we're sharing space here. We're hoping that moving the start time just beyond the noon hour makes it a little easier for folks to schedule their Sunday. Today, David Weiss is leading the service with me. Bruce, our Director of Music Ministry, is at the piano. During our summer services, members of the choir help lead hymns from wherever they are sitting. Thank you, choir. Our volunteer tech team today includes Byron Johnson and Brian Hill, and our service slides come from the work of me and Janice Sancott. Welcome once again to our service today. We hope these Sunday services provide a time of sanctuary, reflection, connection, and joy.
We will light our chalice in person and encourage those of you online to light one at home. Today's reading comes from Pat Uribe Lichty, a reminder of what we share. The chalice is a symbol of our faith. Like our faith, it is not magic, nor is it mysterious. We light it as a reminder of what we share as a community and who each of us is called to be. When we feel lost in a chaotic world, may the light of our chalice show us our path. When we are afraid of the times we live in, may the light of our chalice give us courage. When we despair at the injustice and cruelty around us, may the light of our chalice recall us to a faithful hope. Our chalice is a symbol of our commitment to each other and to ourselves. We light it today as a gathered community that we may understand more completely and act more boldly and hope more fiercely. On this holiday weekend that marks the 250th anniversary of our country's Declaration of Independence, we will sing together America the Beautiful. Historian Heather Cox Richardson reminds us that there has always been tension within our country. Stacey Patton, an award-winning Black journalist, presses further and harder, insisting that for many persons, exclusion from its founding promises was one of the constitutive features of the American project. The version of America the Beautiful We'll Sing has lyrics adapted by Sister Miriam Therese Winter. These lyrics seek to honor the beauty of our land, the complexity of our history, and the wideness of the word America itself. Please rise in body or spirit. We'll show the lyrics on the screen.
When I did the prelude, you may not have recognized the second song.
It's not on.
Oh. Test one, test, okay. The second song I did was a song called Chester. Some of you may not have recognized it. It was known as the unofficial anthem of the American Revolution. It was written in 1778, originally 1770 in the hymnal, but 1778, and written by one of the earliest American composers, William Billings. So I wanted to add that particular song in because that's the historical part of it for today. So, thank you.
We'll begin with an invitation to recall the ideals on which this country was founded as we read the introductions to our founding documents. We know that though our founding documents were revolutionary at the time for their statements of all men being created equal and for calling out fundamental rights supposedly available to all, these documents and the people carrying them out were nonetheless constrained by societal norms that did not really want to include all people. Yet these words kicked off an experiment that has proved to be both flexible and resilient, as we, the people, have, throughout our history, questioned, challenged, and imagined how to make them real. It is true, we, the people, have both worked toward and resisted the quest to form a more perfect union. May we be honored to continue the quest and humbled by the imperfections of the past.
Our Declaration of Independence begins with these words. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience hath shewn that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security.
The Constitution of the United States of America was signed by delegates on September 17, 1787, and ratified by the states on June 21, 1788. This is the preamble to the Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty, to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Our Constitution has been amended 27 times. The first 10 amendments became known as the Bill of Rights. These are where we find specifically listed our rights to freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, the right to peaceably assemble, the right to bear arms, protection against unreasonable search and seizure, and the right to due process and a speedy trial. 12 amendments were proposed in 1789, the year after the Constitution was ratified, and the 10 that became the Bill of Rights were ratified by the states 3 years later in 1791. Here is the introduction to the Bill of Rights. Congress of the United States begun and held at the city of New York on Wednesday, the 4th of March, 1789. The conventions of a number of states, having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed a desire in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, and as extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure the beneficent ends of its institution. Resolved by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America, in Congress assembled, 2/3 of both houses concurring that the following articles be proposed to the legislatures of the several states as amendments to the Constitution of the United States, all or any of which articles, when ratified by 3/4 of the said legislatures, to be valid to all intents and purposes as part of the said Constitution.
Those were a lot of things that got decided in a few short years. With that reminder of the ideals on which our country was founded, we're going to jump ahead to the 1940s for this storybook video sing-along of the song, "This Land Is Your Land." The song was written by Woody Guthrie in 1940. It describes the vast and varied landscapes of the United States, but its simple refrain of "This land was made for you and me" calls us toward that ideal of this being a country where all receive the benefits of this land and this society. Today's recording includes 2 verses that tend to get left out because they acknowledge the contradictions of our country. The picture book in this video was illustrated by Kathy Jacobson. Please feel free to sing along, stand up, move around. There's one extra tambourine here if anyone wants to grab that. But also, as you listen or sing, take note of what stirs in you. And as you sing, listen and watch the images.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ridden up highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond desert, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. stood there hungry. I stood there asking, is this land made for you and me? This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody living can ever make me turn back. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me.
There's a love, there's a love, rest in love.
I'm going to set the stage, so to speak, for a text that we're going to use for our reflection today. We have a short excerpt from a sermon written by Victoria Safford. Some of you may recognize that name because she was the minister at White Bear UU for 22 years. Her sermon, called Turquoise Patriot, is from September 2001, a few weeks after 9/11. Then, as now, what to wear, especially on a holiday such as the 4th of July, might not feel as simple as wearing red, white, and blue. The story begins, a child I know, when asked this week whether she would answer the call of her elementary school principal to wear red, white, and blue clothes on Thursday, was in a quandary. She put down the crayon with which she was painstakingly trying to squeeze the words "peace is possible" onto the white bars between the red bars on the small American flag she had made, and she said, "Well, it is a pretty good country, so it's hard to know what to wear."
Over the summer, we are using some of our services to explore spiritual practices. Today we're going to try an adaptation of a technique called Lectio Divina, a practice devised for scripture study in which a passage is read 3 times, approaching the reading each time from a slightly different perspective. I have paper and pens and colored pencils and notepads on the little table in here if you'd like to take something to write down any of your thoughts or feelings as we go through this exercise. How it will work is that we'll give you an instruction about what to be paying attention to, and then read the passage, and then allow a minute or two for you to reflect. David and I will alternate reading so that in addition to having a new prompt each time, you'll hear the passage in different physical voices too. The idea is that intentionally trying to have a different perspective while reading or listening to the same passage, you'll get a wider variety of your own responses and inspirations. So let's give it a try. Feel free to decide that you want paper to write on in the middle of things and come up and get something then if you wish. So I'll be continuing the story about our child who said, well, it's a pretty good country, so it's hard to know what to wear. As I read the first time, just notice what words or phrases stand out to you. At the end, is there a quote that you think is going to stick in your head? This is a pretty good country. It is one of hundreds and hundreds of pretty good countries layered relatively recently onto the skim of topsoil or desert sand or water which cover the thin skin of our globe. It is one of hundreds of pretty good countries filled with millions of pretty good and proud and worthy people, these other lands with sunlight too and clover. It's a pretty good but pretty complicated country where lately I, who am a lifelong citizen, feel even more than usual like an alien, afraid that if I speak, my voice might betray not some foreign place of origin, but the uneven geography of my heart. It is hard to know what to wear and what to say. These days, everywhere I go, with anyone I meet, I'm wondering, where are you coming from, friend, with your black armband, with your flag, with your red, white, and blue clothing, with your peace sign, with your tears? What roads have you traveled to reach the place where you are? In our pretty good country, it is an honor and a privilege to answer and in turn to ask, what really are we loyal to? What usefulness can nationalism serve now as the old world yields to a new century? What is America's right relation and right role? And my right role as a citizen? And what are you going to wear? And we'll take a minute or two before reading it again.
This time, as I read, notice what emotions or feelings arise for you. This is a pretty good country. It is one of hundreds and hundreds of pretty good countries, layered relatively recently onto the skin of topsoil or desert sand or water, which covers the thin skin of our globe. It is one of hundreds of pretty good countries filled with millions of pretty good and proud and worthy people, these other lands with sunlight too and clover. It's a pretty good but pretty complicated country, where lately I, who am a lifelong citizen, feel even more than usual like an alien, afraid that if I speak, my voice might betray not some foreign place of origin, but the uneven geography of my heart. It is hard to know what to wear and what to say. These days, everywhere I go, with anyone I meet, I'm wondering, where are you coming from, friend? With your black armband, with your flag, with your red, white, and blue clothing, with your peace sign, with your tears. What roads have you traveled to reach the place where you are? In our pretty good country, it is an honor and a privilege to answer and in turn to ask, what really are we loyal to? What usefulness can nationalism serve now as the old world yields to a new century? What is America's right relation and right role, and my role as a citizen? And what are you going to wear? Again, we'll pause for a minute or two as you sit with the emotions or feelings that arise for you.
And now we'll do a final reading, and this time consider what insight or inspiration you might take from this passage and just from this experience of considering this 3 times in a row. This is a pretty good country. It is one of hundreds and hundreds of pretty good countries, layered relatively recently onto the skim of topsoil or desert sand or water which cover the thin skin of our globe. It is one of hundreds of pretty good countries filled with millions of pretty good and proud and worthy people, these other lands with sunlight too and clover. It's a pretty good but pretty complicated country, where lately I, who am a lifelong citizen, feel even more than usual like an alien, afraid that if I speak, my voice might betray not some foreign place of origin, but the uneven geography of my heart. It is hard to know what to wear and what to say. These days, everywhere I go, with anyone I meet, I'm wondering, where are you coming from, friend, with your black armband, with your flag, with your red, white, and blue clothing, with your peace sign, with your tears? What roads have you traveled to reach the place where you are? In our pretty good country, it is an honor and a privilege to answer and in turn to ask, what really are we loyal to? What usefulness can nationalism serve now as the old world yields to a new century? What is America's right relation and right role, and my right role as a citizen? And what are you going to wear? And now we'd like to take a little time for you to share about your experience today. So I invite you to share anything you'd like about this experience, but here are a few ideas you might touch on. Will you take anything from this experience? Did anything from the text give you a new insight or an inspiration? Did you notice anything shift within yourself or your thinking from the first recitation to the third? And my other question is, having learned about this method of Lectio Divina, is it something that you might consider doing on your own sometime with some interesting piece of reading? So I invite everyone, but certainly you don't need to share anything, but it's always such a delight to share our wisdom with each other. So if anybody would like to begin with an insight, now's your chance.
I have practiced this Lectio Divina before, and I really appreciated the prompts that you gave in terms of what to listen for. What I noticed as I was writing through those prompts is that during the first prompt, I was picking out words that aligned with my dis-ease with what is going on in this country and how I feel about celebrating the 4th of July when it feels like I can't. And by the end, when you were asking about insight and inspiration, by that time, hearing it a third time, that script had been flipped. So it went from feeling despair and anger, disappointment, to being, we are not alone, even if we are only pretty good. We have to speak, even if we are afraid. Diversity is our strength and our superpower, and I am going to wear as much color as possible.
This technique does work to shift thoughts and feelings. Trying to grab onto phrases in the beginning, I got stuck because I was immediately transformed to one of my favorite lines from Amadeus when Salieri is being wheeled out and says he's a patron saint of mediocrity. The feelings were, as a citizen of the world, I am right now humbled and humiliated. And I'm angered. But I'm also stubborn and defiant. And I realized I've always been on the outside. Little boy, faggot, a kid with eczema that was very visible, someone who wet his pants in 5th grade, and lots of outsideness. But also resilient and determined. And so I finished with, be the change I want to see.
I noticed what was sort of a little change the last time I was reading, now I've lost it, where it says, who are you? And it says, with your flag. And the first 2 times through, I pictured the American flag. And the third time through, I'm like, it doesn't have to be the American flag. I mean, I like the American flag, but there's been lots of other flags that feel inspirational lately, like the Minnesota flag, and I recently got a Rebel Loon flag, which really made me happy when I got it. And there's the Pride flag. And so I just found that interesting that sort of my view expanded, in a sense, the third time around from sort of a confined reading the first time.
Bruce, 2 things were hitting home, red, white, and blue. So I wore that because I was just thinking about 4th of July. And so I just kind of, is this working? Yes. Oh, okay. So I was looking at here, red, white, and blue. Is that honest democratic patriotism? And I had to say no. Patriotism and honesty for our country, for any country, can be any color of clothes or skin. Red, white, and blue can often also be hiding behind a flag. This is my flag, I am right. Which kind of drew me then to, what are we loyal to? Are we loyal to our country, to the world, to people around us, to nature? Or are we loyal to a person and to politics? What can we do? What can I do?
I was thinking about kind of things on the surface and going deeper. So we read the preamble to the Declaration of Independence, but we don't read the parts about the merciless Indian savages that's also in there. We all know the first couple of verses of "This Land Is Your Land" because those are the happy verses and not the verses about things that were going on during the Depression. And I remember right after 9/11, and everybody was, putting up the flags and wearing the red, white, and blue, and I thought, this is the consumerism response to what happened, not thinking about why our country would be attacked by these people, and not going to that deeper level. And so that brought all of that back to me as part of this.
I was struck by the little phrase, the uneven geography of my heart. And I think many of us, certainly I, am not super comfortable in the uneven geography places of my heart, and yet maybe there is real wisdom and need to explore those places, uneven though they be right now.
A lot of the reading connected me to just current events, and one of the strongest reaction was the emotion of fear and terror, and the image of the far-right group with their faces masked, and the khaki and blue that they all wore, and then being in the bus with surrounding the young black woman. And I'm haunted by that occurrence and that event. And so just the connection of the words to that and the nationalism inspired actually fear and terror. I wanted to celebrate, and we ended up being alone and not having company, and the kids were gone, so we were alone, so I didn't feel like celebrating. But just the way the service opened with the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, and this reading just sort of brought a little bit of positive feelings and pride in the country that I really didn't feel this season, which is kind of sad. But I thought it was a really good experience, because when you just read something once and move on, you don't take the time to really experience the impact of the words. So I thought it was a really cool exercise that way.
I wrote, pretty good country. Could be better. Does it have to be all three colors? How about two of the colors? Which ones? Blue and white? Red and white? What about free speech? Will I get arrested if I say something? If I told the truth, would I be shamed? What about being loyal to this country? Are we loyal to our friends? Are we loyal to the government? What about loyalty?
I was realizing as I was listening to this, and I've read it before, that the last time I was unreservedly proud of this country was probably 67, 68 when I was a senior in high school. My dad was a World War II vet, VFW member, and of course we were getting the whole rah-rah, America's the greatest ever. Although he did acknowledge we broke every treaty that we ever made with the Native Americans, so I had that much in my head. I did know about slavery. But then, of course, you go to college, and in the 60s, the SDS was there talking about what was really going on in Vietnam, and you started to understand the betrayals, the way we'd been lied to over and over and over again, which is the sad part of it, having to lose the ideals and encounter reality. And yet the uneven geography piece of this is being proud of what we have been able to do as well as despairing what we still haven't fixed. So we ended slavery. We gave women the vote. We passed civil rights legislation. We passed environmental legislation. We've added various human rights protections into the law. And part of the reason we're so sad and we're so angry, or at least I am right now, is that those things are under threat and in danger of being lost. I don't think I would feel the way I do if we hadn't already had that, and particularly in the 70s, if we hadn't already had the hope that we were making some significant and permanent change, and that we had momentum.
Thank you, everyone, for your wisdom. Was there anything that anyone online wants to share before we move on? So we don't want to leave you hanging. Here's the conclusion of the story. The child in the quandary found her own remarkable response. When asked what she thought she'd like to do, she did say, "It's a pretty good country." And she looked up then for confirmation of that claim, for some assurance that this guess might in fact be true, and this I gave her. She knows I have my doubts, but needs to be reminded, just as I do, that they go hand in hand with hopes and dreams so passionate and powerful. And then she said, deeply serious, without seeking my collaboration or permission, "I think I'm going to wear turquoise, pink, and beige for now." And so she did. And I don't know if she knows what risk may be entailed there, what wrath she might incur among her playground comrades, or her teachers, or her principal, or how her own chosen symbols of ambivalence might be misunderstood. I don't know what confidence she may inspire in this country to which she has not even learned at her young age to pledge allegiance. For now, she is a turquoise patriot. She's proud and scared and questioning. Her allegiance is to her own conscience, and her trust is still, for now, with the adults in whose clumsy hands her entire future is contained.
Join us now in singing hymn number 159, "This Is My Song." It will be on the screen as well. Please rise in body or spirit to join our song. Let us now enter into a spirit of generosity. On the first Sunday of each month, it is our tradition to donate all of the undesignated funds in the basket to an organization who is living out our values in the community. Today, we are donating to Family Tree Clinic. Family Tree Clinic in Minneapolis has been at the forefront of accessible sexual and reproductive health care and education for over 50 years. They provide a complete range of sexual health testing and provide hormone care for trans persons. They offer weekly drop-in programming for LGBTQ plus teens and young adults, as well as making healthy sexuality presentations in schools and community settings across the metro area. As a community clinic, their services are on a sliding fee scale while aiming to provide the best